Lookup tables, aka LUTs, are a very controversial topic to talk about. I know some people who use them all the time and also others who totally avoid them because they had a bad experience, and I don't blame them because some of the LUTs out there are really terrible. Hey guys, I'm Danny, your friendly neighborhood colorist, and in this video, I'm going to introduce you to my Colorist Vault Creative LUTs. And these are LUTs that I've been using and modifying over the period of a year on all my projects. So I have used them on some TV series and also some commercial projects. So in this video, I'm going to break down each look and specific use cases for it, and also where you can use it in your workflow. So let's get into the video. So if you get the Colorist Vault Creative LUT pack, you will get 17 different creative looks and also a user manual which will break down everything you need to know to install and use the LUTs itself. So I'm going to go through some of the LUTs that we have, but before that I have to show you how you can use it. So these LUTs are created for REC.709. And that's very important because where you locate the LUTs in your pipeline, in your node tree, is very important depending on the use case of the LUT, because each LUT is meant for a different color space. The LUTs that I created is for REC.709, which is the display color space, and you can put that LUT right after your base LUT or your CST, which is going from, in this case, log C4 to REC.709. So one of the reasons why people who had bad experience with LUTs is maybe that they put the LUT or they use the LUT in a different color space that it is meant to be. And that will of course give you very weird artifacts. So I'm very clear about which color space that this LUT is meant for. And touching on this as well, since this LUT is made for REC.709, you can basically use it for any footage, whether it's ARRI, whether it's Sony, whether it's Blackmagic. You just have to do a usual normal CST going from your log color space into REC.709. Then you can use the LUT right after that in the node tree. And if you're on other software such as Premiere Pro, you can put a layer of your base LUT, which is your technical LUT, converting the log into REC.709. Then you can put another layer on top with this creative LUT attached to it. So the workflow that I've designed is pretty straightforward, which is adjustment. Any adjustment you want to make in your lift gamma gain, in your curve, or anything else, which is stands for A, and then base LUT B, and then C, creative LUT. So A, B, C, as easy as that. And with that out of the way, let's jump into our creative LUT node. And to apply a LUT, you can go into your LUTs palette, go into your folder where you have located the LUT, and you can double click on it to apply. So the first LUT we have is Asteroid. So it's inspired by Wes Anderson. It's very pop, very teal, and the skin tones are super pushed to orange. So you have a reference for Asteroid. I'll leave it up here. And this is the look that we can go for if you're in the mood for some Wes Anderson. And the second LUT labeled D55 Autumn. So D55 means that it's warm, daylight 5500 Kelvin. So you have other LUTs which are D65 ARRI and D65 Kodak. And we have a colder LUT which is D75 Snyder and D75 Yukino. So D55 Autumn, I know that it's gonna be warm as well. So this LUT Autumn is inspired by actually another creator, which is Gift Lee. She's a Thailand creator and she has this very nice autumn look, which everything is warm and the shadows are slightly lifted and it's giving very warm and cozy kind of vibes. So if you're a content creator, I think this will suit you very well. So each LUT doesn't actually change much of the exposure or the brightness and also the contrast. It just slightly manipulates it so that you get the look without having to change your adjustment, going back and making more adjustments, which is not something that I want to do when I'm in my workflow. So you see that Autumn will give you very nice highlights, warm highlights, and also a little bit of faded shadow. If we apply it to this grayscale right here, you can see what it's doing in the waveform. So it's lifting up the blacks slightly and then warming up everything, creating this very nice look. So let's move on to Chrome. And Chrome is also a warm look, but the highlights are cooled down. So it gives you this cool highlight, but then a very warm mid-tone to shadow. which creates a very nice look, which I will show you how you can actually use them on day-to-day footage. And the next one, which is D55 Hollywood. This is my absolute favorite one. I use this on a lot of TV series and creative grades. What it gives you is perfectly nice skin tones and slightly bluer shadow. So it gives this very nice color contrast without you having to do any work at all. So you can see what it does to the colors over here, and also see what it does to the skin tones and shadows. So if I apply this on the grayscale, let's see what it does. Gives this very nice teal and then a very smooth and slightly reddish highlight. So this is the Hollywood look, which I love a lot. And you can use this on a lot of different footage. So the next one we have is a D55 Kodak. It's a warm Kodak look using the same principles, slightly colder shadows and warmer highlights. But it doesn't give as much punch as the Hollywood, as you can see. So my next LUT, which is Kolder. So Kolder is inspired by Sam Kolder, of course, the OG. So what he does is very orange skin tones, and the blues and the greens, everything is going towards the teal direction. So you can see that difference over here. And I love this look a lot. If you are shooting events and you want everything to look very uniform, you can use this LUT to create that uniformness without having, because you don't have control over the set design for event shooting or weddings, stuff like that. The next one we have is also a warm LUT, which is MexiGold. So MexiGold is my take on a very golden look. If it's too golden right here, what you can do is in the key output gain, you can drop it down. This is like the opacity of a note. If you're on Premiere, you can use the intensity slider. So I'm going to do 0.5, which is 50%, and you get this slightly golden look. And it affects the highlights and the shadows as well, but very small effect on the blacks, as you can see. So focusing on the blacks over here, if I put it at 100%, if I turn it on and off, you won't see much change in the blacks because I want to maintain the black so that we can retain true to life. And our final warm LUT is Summer. So Summer is different from MexiGold because it doesn't affect the saturation as much. So a gold look will actually reduce the saturation in order to create that goldness. But in Summer, we have a brighter golden look like this. So it's much of a warm push without having it to look too stylized. So the next one we have, which is our ARRI LUT. So the ARRI LUT is a very safe LUT. It does very minimal adjustments, but these adjustments are very crucial in my opinion in order for you to not create grades that are too digital-like. So it's mostly towards the blue and the greens. So if I turn this node on and off, you can see that the green and the blue is taking a lot of a hit. So you can see the vibrant green here. If I turn this off and turn it on, and we can reduce that to make it more true to life, which is some sort of the ARRI color science, so that it reduces the digitalness, which greens will appear very pop in camera but not in real life. So the next one we have is Bleach Bypass. So if you are familiar with Bleach Bypass, it's a skipping of the bleach function when developing film. So we can take that effect and bring it over to digital so that we have a very grungy look. And we also have Highkey. So Highkey is more of a commercial look, like very Japanesey feel. So it's slightly lift in the blacks and also a very pop. So if you want to have that lightness in your footage, you can use Highkey for a Highkey commercial, and I'll demonstrate it to you later. So we also have D55 Kodak, which is a neutral Kodak, right? We see that blues in the green over here, which creates a very nice effect. Next, we have Light. So Light is different from Highkey. Highkey actually introduces a little bit of blue into the shadows to give you that Japanese sky kind of look. But Light is slightly lighter, if I must say. And I've used both of this to create a different type of look than the standard REC.709 commercial. So now moving on to our cooler tones, we have CineGreen. So CineGreen introduces a slightly greener undertone while maintaining the slightly warm highlight and not affecting the blacks at all. So this is a play on the shadows. We also have D75 Dark Cloud, which is a darker version of the Hollywood LUT, if you may. So Hollywood is a warmer version, and Dark Cloud is a cooler, greener version. So we have different type of moods going on over here. And the next one is Snyder. So Snyder is inspired actually by Justice League. So it has very push down tone. Everything's toned down. It's on the cooler side and everything is very dark. So you have this grungy and interesting look. And it's different from our next LUT, which is Yukino. So Yukino, you can see the difference from Snyder. It's very desaturated. Yukino is not that desaturated, but it's very dimmed down. So if I turn this node on and off, you can see that it calms everything down and push slightly blue in the highlights. So this LUT named Yukino is actually inspired by another colorist from Japan who is named Yukino. So I love one of her grades, so I decided to create a look inspired by one of her looks. And I have surprisingly used this quite a lot to calm everything down in a grade so that I can create very nice, dense, dark moods. So that's a run through of all 17 different LUTs in my Colorist Vault Creative Pack. Let's see how it does on other footages as well. So this is something by Blackmagic Design, and I'm going to go into my creative LUT node. Let's put on Hollywood, of course, and it pops, really pops a lot more. It gives that color contrast, right? I can also use CineGreen, which gives a little bit more green in this area here. And Dark Cloud might also work, so it gives you a darker mood, right? And it really pops that orange. See here? And it gives you that real nice teal in the clouds. And let's try Yukino. So Yukino, like I said, it calms everything down, even the warm, even the blue, everything. It gives you a very nice look. So moving on to another clip here, which we have a red car, reddish orange. I'm going to try Autumn. So Autumn might not work as well in a darker scenario. We have to find the right one for this. Let's go, since there's a red or orange subject, we can go with a colder LUT, something like Dark Cloud. Yes, so this gives you that red and blue, which are complementary colors, and it gives this nice look. We can also try Hollywood. It doesn't give as much color separation, but it still gives a very nice moodiness to it. Let's try Snyder maybe. So Snyder dims down everything. I think you can cycle through the LUTs to see which one fits your grade the best. So I think Hollywood, which is my favorite LUT, suits most use cases actually. So here I have a commercial kind of shoot, and let's try to use our commercial LUTs, which are the ARRI Highkey. So Highkey, like I said, it lifts everything up, introduces a little bit blue in the shadow area, and we can also use Light. So Light, it flattens things, which I think looks good as well, but Highkey would be the better one to create that very nice lifted kind of look. We can also try others like Chrome, Hollywood, Kodak, but it doesn't work as well for this particular footage. As for footage like these, it's gonna be very versatile. You can use anyone. Let's try Asteroid just for fun of it, right? So you get this super Wes Anderson look. Chrome, Hollywood, nice. I like it. It adds that density as well. And also Kolder. So Kolder, like I said, it shifts everything towards teal and orange. So we have a very nice uniformity if we have a lot of different clips from different locations. Let's go to this one. I'm gonna go for Hollywood. So Hollywood will give you that nice warm, or Chrome. So Chrome in this case, I think does a very good job because there's very nice highlights over here. So if I turn this on and off, you see that it maintains this whiteness, so it gives you a bit more color separation, and that's very important. Or maybe Autumn. Autumn also works well in this case because it's a bright footage, right? If it's too heavy, like I said, key output gain, you can reduce it maybe 0.6. Then it gives you a more believable look. So don't be afraid to reduce the key output gain if you feel that it's coming on too strong. As for a dark clip like this, let's always go Hollywood. So you can never go wrong with Hollywood. It brings out that skin tone so much more, right? So it looks a lot less REC.709, if you know what I mean. CineGreen actually works slightly well, right? Because if we are trying to give a evil mood, you can add CineGreen to give a little bit of that pop in the green in the shadows. So if you feel that the CineGreen is not doing enough, we can actually duplicate this LUT. I'm going to copy and paste and double it up. We can do it like this. This is something you can do. So if you double it up, you see that there is a lot more green in the shadows. So I have other stuff like this as well. So this is supposed to be a horror scene. So for a horror scene, I will use Snyder maybe. I love this, right? So just one click, I can go from REC.709 to horror, or maybe Yukino doesn't work as well. So yeah, Dark Cloud works as well. So it gives you color contrast and also horror at the same time. But I think Snyder works gorgeously on this. So you can see that the blood is getting a lot more reddish. I'm not sure if I'm going to get banned on YouTube for showing this. So for these, maybe let's try MexiGold. It's to push Snyder or Yukino. Yeah, so you get to cycle through a lot of different looks very quickly, and that's the benefit of using LUTs. So as I demonstrated, these LUTs, they don't crack that easily because I've tested everything. Everything is smooth. You don't really have to be afraid of pushing the colors after or before using these LUTs as well. Let's say I want to lift the shadows. So there's no issue in the nodes upstream of your creative LUT. And that's the magic of using LUTs. So if you're a user of my visionary PowerGrades, you can apply any of the PowerGrades and locate the creative LUT node over here. So it's right after the output device transform, which brings you from the log color space into REC.709. So the LUT is sitting in REC.709 downstream of the ODT. So any of the other PowerGrades will react the same. After the ODT, we have our creative LUT. And before I forget, there's also a pro version of the Colorist Vault Creative LUTs, which includes the PowerGrades that I use to create the LUTs. And to use it, you can import the DRX files into your PowerGrade album so that you can use it across all your different devices without having to import the LUTs into the LUT folder. So this gives you the freedom if you're working across multiple devices or multiple collaborators so that you don't have to send them the LUT and then they have to import it. And sometimes you will also occur some missing LUT issues. So this bypasses all of that. So all you have to do is import the PowerGrades into your PowerGrade album and drag it over to the LUT node here. And this will be available to everyone collaborating in the project without having them to download the LUT individually. Because this works as if it's any PowerGrade containing all the nodes that I use to create this LUT, and you can fine tune them if you want to. So if you're interested to get the Colorist Vault Creative LUTs, you can head down to the link in my description, and I hope it helps out with your workflow as much as it did for me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.